All right, all right. So, once again, hello and welcome to our stream. I don't know if the first 10 to 15 seconds were audible, but so here I am, and uh, we are about to start. So, let me double check. Yeah, I think, yeah, that's right. So, we are streaming, everything is live. And so, for those who don't know me just yet, my name is Thomas, and I will conduct the following trading session for you. So, guys, today we are gonna have a quick talk about what's moving the markets, what's going on, what's going on in the markets in general, and I would really like to hear your questions. So, please do let me know about what bothers you in trading, what are your current sticking points, what is going on, and how do you feel, what kind of trading goals do you set for yourself. So all this matters, and we would really like to help you out. And pretty much, yeah, I mean, when you trade, especially if you trade on your own, not in a group of traders. I said this many times before. I was lucky enough to have joined this trading company during my first steps, during my first months of my trading career. Even though for the first few months I was trading solo, and I even tried to invite a few friends of mine so that we could all like three of us we could trade from my apartment, but that plan didn't work out. Maybe even luckily, because I don't know, we would have killed each other arguing about trades or something like this. So that idea was pretty much not realistic. But then I was lucky enough to have joined that trading company, and after I've joined that trading company, so things started to gradually improve, and the overall benefit of working in that company was that I was surrounded by like-minded people, and we also had the supervisor, the general manager of that company, and basically I always had this not just mental stop, I always had this mental stop loss in my head, and I knew I could not screw around. I could not be foolish with my trades, because once people started to behave foolishly with their trades and basically the company's money, then those people would get fired pretty quickly. I mean, they weren't really, like sort of like uh, like thinking twice about that. Like they would, if you break certain trading rules that were set by that manager, by that person, and also by the risk manager that we had in that company. So basically, that was a ticket out. Right. So before we start, or I mean, I already see questions, right? The gold and silver are both up. Yes, exactly. Gold is actually my biggest winner in this month. When did I open this trade? So I opened this trade on March 26th. No, it's the recent ones. When did I open my previous ones? Right. So I opened them in January, on January 18th. Wow, that is like 2.5 months ago, and I was, well, I was able, I was able to pretty much hold on to this trade for this long time, which is quite interesting, right? So yeah, this is my trade. I entered that trade. The reason for opening this trade was obviously that we managed to finally break above 2000, and then above 2000, then that turned into this long-term accumulation phase. So let's make this line a little thicker. So now we can clearly see this line here. Here it is. So obviously, gold didn't just jump upwards after breaking above this level, after it managed to break above this level, because the big guys, big traders, those market makers, some of them call them market makers, and things of that nature. So these people, these organizations these companies, they weren't really in a rush to actually push prices upwards because they needed to accumulate certain positions. And it so basically, so many people call, or many people consider, that there are two phases of the market usually. So the first phase is called trend. So this trending movement, when we clearly see that when prices go up, prices go down, prices go up. And then we have the so-called sideways or range, or people call it the corridor. So the very narrow fluctuations that can be present for, well, I mean, if you look at Brent, so this accumulation, this sideways phase lasted for more than a month. And then 2 weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, there finally the breakout happened. So this breakout, and now we are, all right, so this is not the most trending asset right now. That is why it's moving kind of slowly, but it just confirms the general rule. And the general rule is this: you have this sideways phase, and you have this trending phase. So basically two main phases of the market. Now, many people also call this, there is another classification, and it goes like this. So while in this sideways movement, big traders, they carefully, very tactically, very slowly, they try to accumulate as much of a position as they want, because they have access to more information, they have these huge analytics department, and basically these people, they can afford making long-term investments based on fundamental analysis, etc. And they are not in a rush to to push prices upwards, because once prices start growing, for example, like this currently, well, first of all, your entry price is getting worse and worse and worse, because it's like, I mean, like, it's so much better to buy gold near 2000 than it is to buy here at 2100 or 2200, right? Even though you can still buy, but the earlier you jump into a position, the more profit potentially you can make, which is kind of obvious, right? I mean, there is no second thought about it. So you always want to buy low, and you always want to sell high, or at least you want to hold your trades for, well, and then that's another question. When do you want to exit your positions? And that is the second mystery of life, right? So we never know. There are certain strategies, and I even happened to see this very interesting presentation, not even a book, but kind of presentation, and maybe you can search it on the internet. I highly recommend doing so, and it's called Exit Strategies for Options and Futures. And in that presentation, or in that material, yeah, it's called like a material, there we have a number of various ways how you can exit positions, because we all, when we look at Bitcoin, for example, which is kind of the most obvious example, so when looking back at this chart, you say, yeah, I would have bought here at 10, and I would have sold here at 60,000, and then I would have bought again at 30,000, I would have sold again at 65. So because realistically, you will never be able to catch these highs. Well, maybe sometimes. So once this level has been was designated, then pretty much this level here, 62,000, 65, yes, that's that becomes a very obvious exit point. But who would have thought that it would reach 60,000? Because many people said it would go all the way up to 80,000. So that is the difficult, a very difficult thing to assess. So when's the time to exit, to quit, to exit the winning trades? And that is why many people, they sort of become the so-called hodlers, right? So when they buy and they never sell. So for example, if you think about like Nvidia stock, right? So who would have thought that it can go from 100, like 150 towards 900? Well, I don't know. I okay. So this is also split, right? Unfortunately, it's not drawn correctly on the chart, but this is split. And well, I mean, after this stock split, the stock went up again from this 200 up to 900, like basically 5 times, almost 5 times. And when it's time to exit, well, that's a difficult one. So a very common strategy in such a situation would be to partially exit, partially close your positions or trades. Is basically when you, yes, little by little you close your positions, and realistically you understand that you will never be able to catch, to sort of gain everything from that trade, to sort of buy low and sell at the very top. But realistically, you sell a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, and your average exit price becomes something like, I don't know, 60,000, 68, 65. And then yes, you leave a little bit of the position, your entry position, for a longer period of time, and hoping that prices will keep rising. And another strategy is called playing around the position, when you partially close the position, and once the price drops, so for example with Bitcoin, that was a very obvious example. So we dropped from 73 all the way to 61, 62, and then you sell maybe 30% of your position here, and then once price drops maybe by 20%, considering this is a trend, that we are like currently in a trend, well, then pretty much you just buy back again. So you open up positions again. Now, guys, once again, something that was pretty much I mentioned last week, and I will not stop sort of saying this again. It's the altcoin index. It's the altcoin season, right? So Bitcoin, Ethereum, they are already quite heavy already, heavy in price. And for example, yes, you can see BNB, Binance Coin. Okay, so the heavier, the monsters, right? The monsters of trading. Okay, so what is surging? Okay, so it's Bitcoin Cash. So what is surging right now is the so-called altcoins. And the reason well, I mean, obviously there is potential, there is still upwards momentum in Bitcoin and in many other coins. But if you look at like Dogecoin, the so-called meme coins, right, Bitcoin Cash, so they have more upside potential, even though obviously if the current rally continues, so Bitcoin, wow, look how beautiful it is right now. It's this it's called flag, right? It's a very so trend line, let me draw it. It's kind of a like a perfect example of a flag. So I call it flag. Some people call it like just a rectangle. So by trend, so the trend this is upwards trend. So there was this quick downtrend, then there was this reversal, reversal followed, and now we are in this flag, and we just need to break above this 71.5. And as you can see, we have quite a lot of resistance here. So how many times? 1, 2, 3. So there were 4 attempts. There has already been 4 attempts to break above this level, and still unsuccessfully, right? So still couldn't, the price couldn't breach this level, which is a very, it turns out that it's a very strong resistance level, and prices just can't break above it. Now, well, it's not the end of the day, right? The Bitcoin battle continues, and it's very likely that in the near future we will see this breakout above 71.5, and then we have this next target, which is 73.9. Okay, so let's imagine it's 73.8 along those numbers somewhere. And what I want to do is I want to add, all right, like this. So as you can see, resistance here, resistance number 1, resistance number 2, and if we are successful in breaking above this level, then also you have to take into consideration that there are quite a few traders, even and also big traders, who are now shorting this asset, hoping that it would drop towards 50,000 and for their quick gains. So if this level is taken, 71.5, and then if 73.5 is taken, then these traders are gonna have to start closing their positions, and basically they would add even more buying pressure, and that will take Bitcoin prices will even further up. So this is my analysis of Bitcoin. Now, the next asset that I want to talk about is Ethereum. So I already spoke a little bit about altcoins. So Ethereum is basically the second largest or the second heaviest in regards to market cap cryptocurrency. And look, so Bitcoin is already trading near 70, right? So just 3-4% away from its all-time high. And Ethereum is trading here at 3,500, and which is like 15% away from its all-time high. So what I mean by this is that it has more potential. So for example, it can grow, it can actually grow at a much higher pace than Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is already high. I mean, like it's big, it's expensive, it's heavily market capitalized, and we don't see that much of inflow, even though yes, this influx of money happens every week, and especially every month. But I mean, looking at these smaller cap coins, you can obviously see that right, it's easier to move them. So you can enter, you can pour in maybe 1/10 or 1/100th of your daily Bitcoin influx, and then it will, yeah, it's like this stellar, right? It's like in this, it is still in this accumulation phase, and if we are able to take, so if something happens, then it will rapidly start growing. So the key word here is rapidly and at a very accelerated pace. All right, I can see a question here. So after becoming pro trader, does withdrawal process get affected for some days? Well, usually, the higher your status, so the highest one obviously here is expert. So the higher your status is, the faster your payouts get processed. That is the general rule of thumb. Now, of course, unfortunately, there are certain exceptions to this rule, and they are all connected with the fact that we have multiple payment methods available on the platform, and some of these payment methods, unfortunately, they aren't as quick as we would hope they would be, and so unfortunately sometimes your money gets stuck somewhere there, even though we process this payout pretty quick, but due to some reasons it might still take maybe up to 5 hours, sometimes up to 24 hours. Now, as I said many times again, we always do find this money, we always compensate this money, or we pay out this money. So you shouldn't worry about this. But I mean, I just do not want to give you like false promises, but the truth is that 99 or 98 or 99% of our payouts, they get processed very quickly, within hours, even not maybe even minutes. But with certain payments, yes, especially if it's some exotic payment system where we have a very small number of traders or deposits or amounts of money, so there might unfortunately take a little longer. So that unfortunately can be the case at times. All right, so guys, let's now talk a little bit about so what else is going on in the world. Nasdaq. So as you can see, Nasdaq. So this seems to be a very strong resistance level. So 18,350 or 18,400. So this red candlestick basically indicates that there is a lot of pressure from the sellers, and so and also I would like to mention that Nasdaq. Is it overbought? So let's see. No, it's not. It's not kind of. It's not really overbought. Actually, when I look at the RSI indicator, even on the weekly, it's not really that overbought, and we don't really see any divergence because the value of the RSI indicator here is above 70, and yet we have this new high. So it's not really the kind of like this classic divergence. For example, here it was a more obvious one. So potentially we can still go up, but you also have to take into consideration that we've been going up without any significant corrections since 11,000. So it's more than 50% actually. Yeah, it's like 60-70%, and it's in 1 year. In a little more than 1 year. It is huge for this market, and many people, many big traders, they are now considering about starting to take profits, and yeah, so that's what we can see here. So we opened with this gap up, and then now the so-called gap closing is taking place here. All right. So my next asset that I want to talk about today is brand. So I'm still holding this position, so upwards positions, because basically fundamentally speaking, so fundamentally, yes, we are still I'm still looking bullish, even though I do not, well, I mean, anything can change pretty quickly, but this price level is very comfortable for oil producing and oil exporting countries, because they pretty much get so much money for Brent and for oil, for all kinds of oil, and at the same time countries that are heavily dependent, whose economies are heavily dependent on energy resources, like Japan, most of Europe, China in a way, India. So these countries, they do not really like such high paying prices, but the so-called BRICS plus countries, they enjoy this for almost, is it what, like it's 2 years, like almost 2 years, even more. They've been enjoying these very high prices, and yeah, for them it's very good, because for the same amount of oil sold, you're getting so much more money than, for example, if you were selling it at $60 per barrel. Now you can sell it for 86, 80. I mean, everything above, I think it's above anything above $75 per barrel is considered a very good deal for these oil producing and exporting countries. All right, so we still have a few minutes, and I would like to talk about Euro USD. So finally, Euro USD has started its descent, which is, once again, I said this many times before, that the European economy, the EU economy, seems or looks so much weaker than the American one, and to me that was quite a surprise that the euro was able to resist for such a long time, and it didn't drop. Now it's dropping. I think we're almost broke below this. Oh no, not yet, but almost. Right, we are breaking. We are now about to break below this support level, and if this happens, then yes, we can see a drop towards 1.06 1.05, and I mean towards the end of this year I totally expect that we might see the so-called parity levels between the euro and the United States dollar, unless something like some positive black swan happens, and things like take a totally different course of action. All right, so let's talk about our economic calendar. So what is happening today and what will happen this week? So this week we have quite a few stories. Well, I mean, it's the most important week of the month, right? It's the first week of the month, and Friday we have non-farm payrolls. I don't know what the number will be. Will it is it going to beat expectations, or will it pretty much be worse than expected? That I don't know, but what I know is that there will be a lot of action on the markets on Friday. What else I would definitely want to pay attention is, yes, today in 32 minutes we have ISM manufacturing indices from the United States, which basically tell us about the health of manufacturing industries in the United States, which is a very important aspect of the American economy right now. Next, we have on Wednesday we have CPI, or inflation, on a yearly basis in the Eurozone, which is a very, very, very important number parameter to watch for right now, because, well, as I said, the European economy, it draws a lot of attention from various sides, and well, we'll see. Based on the result, we will either see the euro diving below this level, or maybe it will bounce upwards again if things are all right with the European economy. So that is quite interesting. Is there something else? Maybe a little bit. Well, I would say Wednesday is a pretty interesting day in general. It's pretty much filled with the news. And ADP, non-farm employment change. Yes, this news release isn't as big as non-farm payrolls, yet it also plays quite a significant role and on the market on that day, and I expect there will be some kind of volatility once this news is released. Greetings from Argentina. Hello. So hello to everyone who is joining. Happy evening, happy afternoon, happy morning, maybe if you're watching from, I don't know, from which part of the world, but well, anyways. Well, what else do I want to mention? So I think I've spoken about all the main about all the main assets which are in play right now. So unfortunately, Crash STM will be closed, and no active trades, no new trades can be placed. It's just you can close your open trades only. It only operates in this mode. So Ripple, yes, it's like this very, very boring asset. I also have some investment in Ripple, but it's probably the most boring investment of 2023-24 from my end, because I keep expecting that it will just sort of surge above this 0.75 cents level, but it just can't. It's, I don't know, maybe sometime it will, but I'm kind of stuck with this position and I don't know what to do. Should I sell it? Okay, I don't have a lot of money in it, so I'm still holding this position. It is without any leverage, so I don't have to pay any overnight fees, and I can pretty much hold this position. It's like my cash position where I don't pay anything for overnight, so I can keep this as long as I want to. So we've spoken about gold. One more aspect, kind of like this Bitcoin, Ethereum story, the same is true with gold and silver. So gold is the market leader of the metals group, the precious metals group. And silver is like Ethereum. It's the same analog as Bitcoin and Ethereum, the same analogy. And basically, well, silver can grow at an accelerated pace. It can grow faster than gold. So I wanna place a few trades, relatively small compared to my portfolio. So I usually split my trades, my amount that I want to invest into multiple positions, and so that this way I'm able to control, and if I want to, I can close one position, I can close two positions, I can close them by take profit, or I can simply, if I want to eject from the trade, I reduce the trading volume by closing these trades partially. All right, so yes, paying attention to economic news. Yes, tackling economic news. Yes, economic calendar is a great source of information, a great tool. Well, guys, this is it for today. Keep in mind that, as always, as every week, we have many trading practical webinars, so feel free to join them. Prepare your questions. Our analysts, our speakers are very they like it a lot when you have questions, when you ask them questions, when this webinar turns into a dialogue. So let's all hope, well, I don't know. I have mostly long positions, not so many short sell positions, except this small position on Tesla in this account. I also have other ones, but that's another story, not for today. And yeah, I wish you all a wonderful trading week, nice trading results, good profits. And as always, I will see you next Monday. And check our webinars schedule. You can do that in our webinars on our channels, YouTube channels. And please do join our trading seminars, because they're fun, they're educational, and they are beneficial to your trading results. All right, that was it. Thomas signing out, and I will see you next Monday. Have a good trading week.